What's going, guys? Aarava here. Welcome back to another episode of my F1 2016 career mode. Episode number 15 today for Season 2 at the Singapore Grand Prix. We're met with a very familiar screen here. Sponsor bonus of 400 yet again. The sponsors just love me, really. They just want to chuck money at me. I mean, or resource points, rather. Yeah, I'll take that gladly. But third time in a row, so we're getting pretty damn lucky with the sponsor bonuses. But if you did miss the previous episode number 14, the Italian Grand Prix, that was uploaded on Monday. Please do check it out if you did miss it, because obviously these uploads are being spread out a little bit more, so it really does mean a lot that if you do miss an episode, you go check it out before you check out the latest one. But we're here with an R&D event, obviously, because we upgraded the engine, so we got that fourth engine upgrade finally. After a lot of you guys have been wanting me to get that, we had to earn the points first, so we finally got enough last time out with the bonus there as well, and the R&D points we got in practice, so we have got that fourth engine part fitted. So now I believe we're 4 out of 5, I should say, for 4 categories. Yeah, we've got 5 out of 5 for drag, and we're 4 out of 5 for 3 other places. The only one lacking a little bit is fuel efficiency, but to be honest, I really don't honestly think that's going to be worth it in the end. But at the moment, you can see we're apparently the fastest car. Red Bull second, Williams third. We've got Mercedes in fourth. We've got Ferrari dangerously close to falling behind Haas there. That's going to be very, very controversial. They fall behind there, but that's how the table kind of looks. But we go into practice, obviously, as per usual, trying to get enough R&D points for the weekend as a whole, because although we are the fastest team, from the last few races, I'm not going to lie, it really has felt like Williams are the fastest team, which is really annoying to me because, you know, one, I'm not a big fan of Williams as a whole, and two, they were rivals last season. I thought we got rid of them in Season 2, but clearly not. But we got the points we could in practice there. We move on to qualifying here. You can see right now we're in P12. We're on our second flying lap, the faster one of the two, and you can see we've set purple first sector, so going well at the moment in Singapore as we come through. At the moment, Jenson Button right up there, so he's had a good qualifying through the final corner, and we come across the line. It's going to be P5 at the moment, but as we move later on into the session, it's going to be Valtteri Bottas on pole position. Jenson Button, though, brilliant second place. I'm down here, unfortunately, in that familiar P7 that we haven't been in for a while, but P7 there for us. So showing that Jenson, once again, like Season 1, doing the job against me in Singapore. I don't know what it is with Jenson and me, but he does a lot better at Singapore for some reason. In Season 1, it was the same case, but I did mention Williams, clearly the fastest car, because it's Singapore, not a track they're meant to be good at, and Bottas is getting pole position. So yeah, but Verstappen third there, but Jenson, brilliant second place. We're going to have to see what I can do from 7th. To be honest, obviously, we've got a healthy lead in the championship, so I will just try and do my best to overtake some people at the start and see what we can do from 7th there. A familiar place, but let's go to the grid for this Singapore Grand Prix. So as per usual, taking a look at our strategy ahead of the formation lap, you can see here we're going to be going for a 3-stop today, because if I look back at Season 1, our teammate Jenson did a 3-stop, if I remember correctly, in Season 1, and it worked out really well for him to be on the ultra soft tyre right at the end on lower fuel. We're also going to underfuel the car quite a bit, actually, to the point where the game is telling me it's a dangerous level, but I think it should be okay because we've got some good fuel efficiency. I also, here at Singapore, don't think I'll be using rich mix too often, to be honest, because rich mix obviously makes it a little bit harder on the track compared to if you're in lean or normal, and Singapore is definitely one of the harder circuits for me personally, at least, but in general it's known to be one of the trickier ones for actual all-out traction, because a lot of the corners are very stop and start ones, obviously being Singapore. So that's what we're going for today. A bit of a different plan to what we usually ever done, really, so hopefully we'll see if it works out. Here at Singapore, you know, qualify a little bit lower than I would have hoped to. I think we can try something different and try and see if it works out for us. But anyways, we rev up for those 5 red lights for the Singapore Grand Prix. 31 laps laps ahead of us of this tight, twisting circuit. The longest race on the calendar. We're underway here, dumping the clutch, and everyone's got a pretty decent start here, including Sebastian Vettel for once. And we go into turn 1, and there's nowhere to go. We have to stick behind Daniel Ricciardo and Vettel as he goes side by side with the Australian, and Massa going down the inside of Jenson Button. We got Verstappen and Bottas getting away from the pack there, so it looks like it's Bottas in first place for now, and then Verstappen closely behind in second, and both of them quite a big sizable gap to third place man Jenson Button for now as he battles Massa as we get a good run off that right hander on the back straight. We're going to go side by side with Sebastian Vettel, who just about gives us enough room. Down the inside we go, and Button struggling a little bit to keep up with Massa in a straight line, and they tangle a little bit, touch tyres I think that was, as Ricciardo just sits there and kind of watches that battle still unfolding as Button gets squeezed into the wall, similarly how I've squeezed Vettel into the wall, but Vettel's still there. Vettel's done a brilliant job to stay down the inside, still down my inside and left hand side, but we'll just about get it on the exit, and we'll get up at 6th as now Ricciardo tries to make a move on our teammate there. Oh, very, very close between the Red Bull man and our teammate. Button just about defends 4th place. This might allow us to actually get Ricciardo as he's getting bunched up behind our fellow teammate. So we tried to maybe look down the inside, thought better of it, but Massa gets away now. So Massa has already got a bit of a sizable gap to Jenson there, you can see in the distance. So the Williams doing very well, surprisingly, actually, here at Singapore, because you would have thought, you know, looking at the Williams in general, it's not usually known for being a very high downforce car, but obviously with the upgrades they've done lately in this season, they're looking like a very, very strong contender now for getting these wins, because at the moment I believe Bottas is still leading the way. You can see on the mini-map, he and Verstappen have got quite a sizable lead to Massa there, and Massa's already got a sizable lead to Jenson, and so I lose the rear end there on the right hand side. So we're going to see where Vettel's going to be in this. He doesn't look like he's going to catch us here. We're actually catching Ricciardo. I would have thought Vettel would have been much closer to us, to be honest, but it looks like he's actually falling back quite a sizable way, and we might make a cheeky move down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo, who's been caught napping here, going very, very slowly for some reason. Ricciardo, he might have some issues on his car. I don't know why he was going so slowly in that section, but he got oh so close to his left front. We tap the wall for good measure just to give him the room there, but you are hopefully going to get it, but he sticks it down the inside. So Ricciardo really not trying to give up these positions best he can. We go side by side in the same place. Jenson squeezed him out, I squeezed him out the next lap on lap 2, and we're up into 5th place now behind Jenson. So really nice move there, Ricciardo. Nice little battle and scrap there, but you can see I'm really struggling on the rear end here at Singapore. As I mentioned earlier, you know, I'm not going to be putting it into rich mix, to be honest, quite a lot of the time, because I want to try and put it in lean, save the fuel, but also kind of just help me on the traction, because here at Singapore the setup was pretty good and pointy, you know, on the front end during qualifying. In the race though, in heavier fuel, it's proving to be a bit of a struggle, but we move on to lap 5 a few laps later, and we're already coming to the pits now. The Ultra Softs, obviously, they're more or less like a qualifying tyre, I would say. I mean, obviously they can go some way into the Grand Prix, but I felt definitely it was time to come in already on lap 5, try and get an undercut on these guys, try and see if I can kind of maybe force them into a pit stop maybe. So we're in a pretty good pit stop, no dramas there, onto the Red Wall Super Soft tyres, and the plan is we won't even be going on to the mediums potentially in this 3-stop strategy. We're going to another set of softs and then another set of ultra softs, so we'll see how that goes for us, and we're just going to have to kind of, you know, bag on the fact that I'm just making a bit of a gamble. I'm going off the fact that Jenson did this same strategy last season in Season 1. So come out in 20th place, so quite some way away, but crucially we've got a lot of clean air, so now we can push on these super softs and try and see what I can do. So we move on, going to the final corner of lap 6, on towards lap 7 here, so 2 laps later as we cross the line. Sebastian Vettel is going to be in the pits. Raikkonen has already pit, so his teammates already been on another fresh set of ultra soft, it actually is. So surprising that Raikkonen's gone ultra soft, whereas Vettel's gone super soft, the same as me. So Raikkonen should be coming at us quite rapidly, and he does so. On towards lap 10, you can see in the DRS zone, he comes through on the right hand side, trying to make a move around the outside. We're going to defend the inside line. Up ahead, we've got a gaggle of cars there, all kind of bunching up and tripping over each other. We've got Massa being held up by Kvyat, and oh, Massa makes contact with Kvyat there, and Button gets away from them there. So our teammate making use of that as Massa comes back at us, nearly takes us out as well. And so Massa getting in the wars of it, in the thick of it with Kvyat, and Kvyat I think has been overtaken by Raikkonen as well. I think he may have got some damage off the wall, but now we're stuck behind Felipe Massa, who looks like to be going a little bit slower than everyone else, because he was finding it tricky to overtake a Toro Rosso, which is one of the slower cars now in season 2 due to the fluctuating kind of performances. But Raikkonen, let's get back to that. He's on ultra soft, so he's looking pretty damn good, but if we can try and hold him up, we could kind of ruin his race a little bit here and make sure we just kind of stay ahead of him, because at this moment in time, I'm not too sure where we are in this race. It looks like we're kind of racing the Ferraris, maybe our teammates, potentially Massa, but I don't think we're going to be racing Bottas and Verstappen, unfortunately, because they look like they're just in a class of their own today, Bottas and Verstappen. They're battling each other way up front there, whereas we're kind of here in 14th place, battling Massa, Button, and Raikkonen. You can see our engineer asking for some change in strategy. For now, I'm not going to think about that, as Raikkonen now tries to make a move down the inside on lap 11. He's going to maybe try and get it. We're going to stick it around the outside on the curb. Will he get it? No, he won't. We'll just about keep it on the inside this next corner as well. Squeeze him out like we did to his teammate earlier, and we're going to keep that 14th place for now, but I believe Raikkonen's going to keep on charging as we move later on into the lap, just not a few, just literally a few corners later, and now Raikkonen will have a chance to again have a pop at us. We get some poor traction, and look at that, Raikkonen, beautiful traction in the ultra softs. He's gone right around the outside of us, even before we get to the brake zone, and Raikkonen's got us. He's actually mugged us off there, so we're down to 15th place. And to be honest, I think maybe that's inevitable. He's on a faster set of tyres. But meanwhile, we've got Vettel, his teammate on super softs. We definitely have to try and keep him behind us, because he's on the same set. And our car should theoretically be a lot faster than him. So we have to try and keep him behind us. But we're really struggling on traction and turning for some reason here. On heavier fuel, the car's not performing like it did in qualifying. Not feeling as great as it did in qualifying. And Vettel with the DRS, great straight line speed there from the Ferrari engine. We tried to make a move there. Last minute duck out. We hit his rear tyre because of it. So that was my bad. But we just kind of ducked out the last minute there. I thought I could maybe try it down the inside, but he had too much speed for me. And at the moment, this McLaren is struggling. At least mine is. I don't know what's going on with Jensen. If we look back to Season 1, though, saying that, Jensen was a lot faster than me in Season 1 here at Singapore. So it looks like Singapore is just a bogey circuit for me this year, on this year's game, perhaps. We've got yellow flags up ahead, though, so we might have a bit of luck here. Has someone crashed on? Oh, okay, we've got a lot of cars stacked up here. I believe we may have a bit of an incident here as we come through to the final corner. We've got Hulkenberg and a Renault going in. We're all bunched up. At the beginning of the train is our teammate Button. We've closed up on Vettel in the DRS zone of Vettel. We've got Ricciardo making a move. Maybe we'll go down the inside of both cars of Sainz and Vettel and go up into 11th place. Very, very opportunistic there. And we had to make that because Ricciardo behind me was also getting the slipstream of me. So he could have been overtaken by the Red Bull, but instead I overtook two other cars. But, okay, we got a little bit lucky here. But as I was saying, it looks like maybe Singapore maybe just isn't my circuit this year. It was okay for me in 2015. Actually, probably one of my better circuits on F1 2015. But on F1 2016, looks like maybe not so. Maybe quite the opposite, actually. As we go through now, though, on lap 13, you can see that is, I think that's Perez. I think that is, yeah, Perez being squeezed out by Button. So Button struggling a little bit against the Force India, perhaps. And Massa and me are now catching up to them in a bit of a train here. But as we lose the back end a little bit on that left-hander, just a bit of a thought for you. We're on lap 13 and we're still in 14th place. So that must mean there are quite a few cars up ahead who started on perhaps the super softs or even the soft tyres. So they must be going quite long. So quite a difference in strategy down the field. You got all these guys, me, Massa, Button, Raikkonen, Vettel behind me, and Ricciardo as well, remember, who are all obviously technically front runners or should be in this race, but we're all down here still in 11th place right now as we come into the pits. But we're still here after 13 laps of this Grand Prix, so there must be quite a few cars up ahead doing a very different contra strategy. And it's lap 14. We've now come to pits, as you can clearly see, and we were only at max up to 11th place by the time we made our second pit stop. So we are very much on a very, very different strategy. There are a lot of cars up ahead of us going very, very long compared to what we're doing. We're doing very, very short stints, but obviously we're on a 3-stop, so the hope is that we're, kind of negating the extra pit stop time by going a little bit faster on these fresher tyres. We come out of the pits just inside of Nico Hulkenberg. Can we squeeze out the Force India, man? We saw his teammate kind of attacking Button here. Can we try and attack Hulkenberg and not kind of fall behind? He's got down the inside, but we'll get better traction, do the switchback move on him, and that's actually quite a nice move as we do a bit of a drag basically race down the straight. Hulkenberg taps my left front there and he's gonna get it, but we make a nice fake move down the inside there. We faked to the right, went to the inside, and we've now got that, and we're up into what will be 20th place there. I think the screen froze a little bit there, guys, so apologies. That was my recording equipment failing me a little bit in the middle of that move, but we are up into 20th place behind Kimi Raikkonen now. But remember, Raikkonen hit quite a few laps earlier than us now. We've made the same number of pit stops as him, but remember, he did 2 ultra soft sets. So the hope is we can try and catch him up on these fresh tyres. He'll have to come in earlier than us, so we will eventually get ahead of him. We move on to lap 19, a few laps later here. You can see as we come down the pit lane, you can see Massa there on the left. We've overtaken it on strategy, so that's worked out really well. So Massa finally comes in, and we've overtaken him on the pit stop strategy. Vettel behind him as well, so we're doing well. Finally up into P10, getting back into that kind of points-paying position. Button up ahead in 9th place. We move on to the next lap, though, lap 20, in the same area now in Sector 1. Going on to the back straight, you can see Massa has caught up to me now. His tyres have heated up a little bit, after coming out of the pits on the previous lap, and he's got DRS here. Williams obviously very good in a straight line, so here he comes round the outside. We'll stick it down the inside here. He goes a little bit wide mid-corner, so he stick it down the inside. Can we hang it around the outside now for this corner? We're actually going to try a switchback move here, but it just doesn't work. Massa gets great momentum there, and in hindsight, I should have just stuck it around the outside and tried to hang it around there. Of course, he could have squeezed into the wall, but we should have tried that. But now Ricciardo, we've got more things to worry about. Ricciardo dives it down the inside, gets cleanly ahead of us there on the curve. Very aggressive move by Ricciardo, and he's actually mugged us off there in front of our pals. So we're in P11 now, 2 places lost in the span of a few corners, and at the moment now we're back to square one, basically, where I thought we were basically P11 beforehand, and the car is really not feeling that great. So, yeah, worrying a little bit here in this Grand Prix. Lap 22, we've not got many laps left in this Grand Prix. We're well over 2/3 now through the Grand Prix, and we're not in the points. This is slightly worrying, and we've now got Rosberg, our nearest title rival, coming down very easily on the right-hand side with DRS, and look at that. He just gets right past us. I definitely have put too much downforce on this car, I think. I put way too much downforce on this setup because Rosberg is screaming past us, whereas on previous circuits, our Honda, has been pretty OP, so I definitely think I put a bit too much downforce here, but also the car in the corners is just not feeling too well, and also the strategy might not be paying off because we're on well, very worn super softs now, because on lap 22 we come in for our final set of tyres. This will be the ultra soft set. As I said before, we've got Perez, we've got Palmer, Sainz, Grosjean, all these people around, Haryanto, all these people around us on soft tyres. As I mentioned, a lot of people doing a very, very opposite strategy to me, going on to the hardest tyre available at this Grand Prix, the soft tyres, whereas I'm here on ultra softs. You can see there Hulkenberg on super soft. So we've done a very, very different strategy. One that I thought would work out because Button did it last season, and it worked out an absolute treat for him. You know, I believe, if I remember correctly, Button got a podium in this race last season, so I thought it would work out for me, but clearly things have changed, the grid has moved on, things have shuffled up a little bit, and generally it looks like the entire grid can afford to do one less pit stop than they did last season, whereas I've sort of gone backwards, and I'm having to do one more pit stop in general. So it looks like as the car has got faster, as the engine's got better, I'm wearing out my tyres more. I don't know, just a little bit of a kind of rough analysis from me on what maybe is the problem with our car right now. But we move on to lap 26. You can see a huge train here up ahead of us. We overtake Palmer with ease. That was for position. He didn't have blue flags. That was just Palmer being absolutely rubbish on traction there on soft tyres. So we might have an absolute Christmas party here trying to overtake all these cars because they're going to be on much slower tyres, much worn tyres. We dive it down the inside of Kvyat here. He's just not got any grip. We go over the curb. We've overtaken for 19th place. We'll try and stick it down the inside of Wehrlein here and try and overtake him and the inside of Haryanto. A double overtake on the Manis on the left-hander. And here's Raikkonen, also equally struggling with these guys. We dive down the inside of him. Absolute field day of overtakes. Overtakes galore here at the Singapore Grand Prix with a few laps left to go. We got the other Renault and the other Toro Rosso Sainz going in. We've got Nasser blocking us off on the last corner, actually. That allows Raikkonen to come back at us as Nasser parks the absolute stadium on the apex. Raikkonen dives it down the inside. We give him the room. He doesn't make the move stick, so we're in 14th place still, and we'll surely get the DRS on Nasser, but an absolute field day of overtakes that was, as we've got 4 laps left in this Grand Prix, but we're in 14th place. As you can see, up ahead on the mini-map, not too many places to gain, so I have a real worry that we're actually maybe not going to get any points in this race, maybe just some pride, but it seems like we've had an absolute shocker of a Grand Prix, an absolute disaster of a strategy. 3-stop has just not worked out. We've not had the pace to make a 3-stop work. I thought we might have had more pace in the bag than we really have, but we make a move down the inside of Nasser nonetheless, and we're up into 13th place, but we move on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Unfortunately, Perez nowhere to be seen on those soft tyres. We're here in P12 now, defending from Rio Haryanto, which is, well, interesting to say the least. We go around the outside, tap tyres with Haryanto, and that is just not where I want to be in this Grand Prix. But unfortunately, we've just not had the pace, and towards the end of this Grand Prix, I kind of gave up hope of will to live, really, because I was just boggling my mind at why we're here in P12. So here we go. We finished the Grand Prix laughably in P12. Honestly, just no idea. Just a very, very weird Grand Prix. Very, 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 very weird Grand Prix. Bottas comes through to win the race, showing that Williams looking very, very strong now. They're pretty much the strongest car right now at the moment this season, as he comes through. Hamilton second, Grosjean with another podium. Remember, he got a podium in at Silverstone, and what was it? Was it Hungary, I think it was? So Grosjean doing a fantastic job for the Haas F1 team there, beating the factory team Ferrari, so putting them to shame there. Our teammate, yet again, showing us up here at Singapore, comes home in 4th place with us in 12th, so showing, you know, he did one less stop than us and got 4th place, so maybe I really should have done the 2-stop, but I just thought I had more pace in the tank, but clearly not. So we've had an absolute mare and a strategy disaster there, so that's all my fault. I'll put my hands up. We should have really done a 2-stop there, but yeah. You know, you try something and it just didn't work out. So now I know I probably won't be trying extra pit stops anytime soon in this championship. But you know what? It doesn't matter. We've still got a nice lead. Hamilton, interestingly enough, now comes home in 2nd place in the championship. Rosberg now down to 3rd. So that will really be a kick to the teeth for Rosberg there. But we're still leading both championships, constructors and drivers. So all in all, pretty successful Grand Prix for us as a team. Button bringing home the points. So nice change for once that he's the bacon winner in the team compared to me. But yeah, a bit of a head scratcher, but you know, you have these races, we'll live and learn, and we'll go on to the next race and hopefully come back strong. So guys, if you did enjoy that Grand Prix nonetheless, some awesome overtakes right at the end, a field day of overtakes at the end, smash that like button, let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you know how to, then just go for weekly F1 content. Interestingly enough, we're drawing in Hamilton on the rivalry there, very funny to see, but yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed that, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.